Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 28 of our survival series. My name is Joe Buffalo, and joining me today is Leo, the Creeper. How are you today?
Good.
Good? What do you want to do today?
I want to build a automatic wolf farm.
You want to build an automatic wool farm?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. We should put every color in there, too, all 16 of them. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, let's go! Okay, Leo, so today's build is going to be a 17 by 24 area that is 12 blocks high. So we're going to clear this entire area out all the way up to our tree farm. Are you ready to get started, bud?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Here's what a 24 by 17 area cleared out looks like. Now we can go over the mechanics of how a sheep can get automatically sheared. So normally when you get a sheep to shear it, you would get a pair of shears that you can make simply from iron, and you would right click on them, and anywhere from 1 to 3 pieces of wool will show up once we shear him. Now, in order for the sheep to grow back its wool, it has to eat a piece of grass. Oh, there he goes. So there he is eating, and you can see that his wool has now grown back. And if we were to walk up and shear him again, the same process could happen. So the idea is to have an observer on that specific piece of grass, watching it as it ate that grass. Once that grass has been eaten, it will update this block, causing a redstone pulse to come out the back. So if we hooked up a dispenser to that, with a pair of shears inside of it, like so, every time this grass would get eaten, this would dispense the shears and it would shear the wool off of the sheep. And then all you could do is put a collection system right underneath of it that would collect the wool, and you'd have an automatic wool farm. So that's the idea that we're going to use today, and I'll show you how that works in the build that I designed. So in this 17 by 24 area, we're going to put in 16 different pods. Each of those pods will contain a different color for each of the 16 colors. So in order to build one of these pods, we're going to come to the left hand side of our 17 by 24 rectangle and count 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go ahead and place a dirt block here, followed by 2 additional dirt blocks. Then we're going to go ahead and put 2 more dirt blocks here, 2 here, and 1 here. So you should have something that looks like that when completed. Next, we'll go behind the dirt we just put down, and on this center block here, go ahead and place a hopper going into that block so that the arrow is facing that way. Next, we're going to go ahead and dig this block out here, and we're going to go ahead and place a barrel. Once whatever flows into the hopper will now flow into the barrel. Next, we're going to go ahead and place a rail on top of our hopper. Next, we're going to go ahead and place a dirt block here, here, and here, and here. Then we're going to go ahead and place a minecart with hopper on top of the rail. Now, what that's able to do is that if there was a block here, and the sheep was to feed off of this block here, because it's a minecart with hopper, it would be transferred into the hopper through the block. And that's what's nice about having a hopper system, just like we have over here in our sugarcane bamboo farm. However, since a minecart with a hopper is not a block, we can actually push this block into the minecart hopper. That way it'll lower this pod by 1 block. And the way to do that is to build up the sides here by 2 blocks and 1 additional. Place a block here, get yourself a piston, and place it on here. Now go ahead and dig this block out, come to where the rail is, and take the rail out. And you'll see that the minecart hopper sits down on top of the hopper. Next, all we have to do is place a button on the piston, press the button, and you see the dirt block goes inside of the hopper. Now that whatever on top of this block will go into the minecart hopper, which will go into the hopper, which will go into the barrel. And then we'll be able to retrieve whatever we want inside of our barrel. Now go ahead and take all this down. Next, we're going to go ahead and take this block out of here, and we're going to put a observer in that spot right there. Now this observer is going to observe this grass block on which the sheep will be sitting on. Next, we're going to go ahead and place a dispenser facing us on top of the observer. Then we're going to go ahead and place a block behind our observer and another block on top of that block. Then we can go ahead and place a piece of redstone in here and a pair of shears inside of our dispenser. Next, we want to go ahead and place dirt blocks here, here, and there. And that's pretty much it for the pod. The only thing we have to do is enclose it with glass and get a sheep inside. One important fact is to make sure that you have at least 1 grass block on this level. Therefore, the grass will start to grow back. Otherwise, if you don't have any grass here, there's not going to be any grass growing. So the reason we put glass on top of this is so that it's a transparent block so that the grass can grow and the sheep continually have something to eat in that one block that they're in. So then go ahead and place your glass just like this. 3 there, 3 there, and 1 here. And then bring it up a second level. Now what I like to do is come from behind here and build a little staircase up just like that. And we can bring our sheep inside the pod. Sometimes you just have to push them in there. And just like that, you get him inside of the pod. Now he'll jump up and down for a while. But you could always put a trap door or half slab on top of here if you want. Once you have him in there, in order to start the automatic wooling, he has to be sheared so that he'll eat the grass. And as you can see, he eats, and then the dispenser dispenses the shears. The shears shear the wool, and now there should be some wool, which there's 1 piece in our barrel. And that'll continue forever until your shears break. So now you can go ahead and tear this down, and that's the entire build for this pod. Now what I'm going to do is build 15 more of these in this area, and let me show you how to get the colors for each one. So dyes are an interesting item in our Minecraft world. There's actually 16 different colors of dyes, which can be used to dye wool, terracotta, banners, shuckler boxes, glass, concrete powder, candies, beds, firework stars, or even signs. Obtaining dyes can be somewhat challenging, but also a lot of fun. They can be produced by crafting them from plants, such as flowers, getting them from other colors together by crafting the 2 dyes together, or by trading them with the wandering trader. Today we're going to use the dyes to color our wool so that we could have all 16 colors of wool whenever we want to build something. Out of the 16 different colors of dye, 7 of them are broken up into what we call our primary colors. So the first of our primary colors would be black dye. To obtain that, you can get that from an ink sac, or you can get it from a wither rose. Once you get the ink sac, you would place it in the crafting table and craft yourself some black dye. Next on the list would be blue dye. There's 2 different ways to get blue dye. One from lapis or one from a cornflower. Again, placing them in the crafting table would go ahead and just craft it into blue dye for you. Next would be brown dye. Brown dye is made only from cocoa beans. Placing them in the crafting table and getting yourself a piece of brown dye. Next on the list is green dye, and green dye is done by getting a cactus and smelting a cactus. Next would be red dye, and red dye is done several different ways. One through a poppy, a rose bush, a red tulip, or a beetroot. Each one of those thrown into a crafting table would give you red dye. Next on the list is the white dye. White dye is done by using bone meal or lily of the valley flower, placing it in the crafting table and getting yourself white dye. And then finally in the primary colors, we have yellow dye, and you can get that by finding a dandelion or a sunflower, placing those in the crafting table and getting yourself a yellow dye. The next list of colors for our dye is called our quasi-primary colors, and they consist of 6 different colors. The quasi-primary colors can be created from a single ingredient spawned naturally in a world, or by combining other dyes. Those 6 colors are 1. Light blue. Light blue can be found by a blue orchid, or you take blue dye and combine it with white dye in the crafting table to get yourself light blue dye. The next is light gray dye. Light gray dye can be found spawned naturally in the world by finding an oxy daisy or a white tulip. Also, if you craft white dye with gray dye, you would get light gray dye. You can also craft 2 white dye with 1 black dye to get yourself a light gray dye. Next would be lime dye. Lime dye is found by finding a sea pickle and smelting a sea pickle, or you could take green dye and combine it with white dye to get yourself lime dye in a crafting table. Now the next one is magenta dye, and there's several different ways to get magenta dye. You can find lilac in the wild, putting in a crafting table and get yourself magenta dye. You could put purple dye with pink dye. You could put red dye with blue dye and pink dye, or you could put 2 red dyes, 1 blue dye, and 1 white dye to get yourself a magenta dye, all placed in the crafting table. Next on the list is orange dye, and you can find yourself an orange tulip in the wild. Place that in a crafting table, and you'll have orange dye, or you can combine red dye with yellow dye to get yourself orange dye. And finally in this list is pink dye. Pink dye can be found in the wild by a peony or a pink tulip. You can also combine red dye with white dye into the crafting table to get yourself some pink dye. And the final 3 colors we have left are our secondary colors. These secondary dyes are created only by combining primary dyes together. These 3 are cyan dye, which is used by putting green dye with blue dye to get yourself cyan dye. Second on the list is gray dye, which you put black dye with white dye to give you gray dye. And last on the list is purple dye, where you put red dye with blue dye to give yourself purple dye. Well, those are our 16 colors that are all found in Minecraft. Let's go ahead and start putting those on our sheep so we can represent all 16 colors to start our build. A good idea to do before you get your sheep inside of the pod is to dye the sheep then. However, you can still dye the sheep even if it's already inside the pod. What you have to do is just come down here, remove the redstone from there, and then once the sheep eats the grass and gets its wool back, then you can go ahead and dye him. Now the sheep is ready to be dyed, so we're going to go ahead and make our first sheep color brown. You would just right click on the sheep with the dye in your hand. Then once you're done there, make sure you go ahead and put your redstone back, and then you're going to have to shear the sheep yourself manually once to get it started again. This will be our brown wool that we get from our sheep. So the first one is about completed. What we're going to do next is go ahead and build 5 more of these along this in a straight line. And I'm going to dye the sheep before I put them into the pod. I'm also going to dye the glass the same color as the sheep. And to dye the glass, you would do the exact same thing. You would take the piece of glass and put it with the dye into the crafting table to get yourself the color of glass the same as the sheep. So we'll go ahead and get started on the next 5, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. One thing to add on our build, if you want, you can add a hopper on top of your dispenser, just like that. That way you're able to put your shears into the dispenser through the hopper. Instead of having to come back behind the dispenser to put shears inside, you can easily access it from the top. Once you have all 6 sheep in place for the first row, you should have 2 spaces on each side here, and then one over on this side as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and place trap doors right underneath here as this, the whole way down. And once you're done with that, it should look just like that. The next thing we're going to do is come over to our sheep storage area, and then the color that they're producing, go ahead and take out 2 pieces of wool. And what you can do is replace this block here with one and this block here with one. And then you can see that this is going to be the brown area sheep. We'll do that with the white, the light gray, the black, and the purple, and so on. And I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. And after you're finished with that, that's what the front of our farm is going to look like for our first 6 sheep. Now we're going to come over here to our left side, and we're going to go ahead and place a set of staircase like this, and like this. And then a 4th one, just like this. So you'll have 4 sets of stairs, and you're going to do this the same thing on the other side. Once you have your stairs set up on both sides 4 high, you come over to the top of one side, and we'll go ahead and place a block right level with the hopper. And just like that. And you're going to run a row right straight across, and we're going to go 2 deep with it. So we'll put one here and here. And then once you get that in, it should look just like this. Nice platform with a staircase on both sides. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove this temporary white block. Put down a fence post there. One there. And connect the 2. And we're going to continue to run this fence all the way up as a railing to go up and down the stairs. And we'll go ahead and do that on both sides. And then once you have your railing in place, go ahead and stick a block just on the outside of each one of these. And that'll be on both sides. And once you got your railing and your blocks in place, your front of the farm should look like this. Now we're going to go ahead and start on the 2nd level of sheep farm. So we're going to come to the end here where we started our first one. And we're going to move over 2 blocks. 1, 2. And then we're going to start our next block of dirt right there. 2 blocks behind where we're at and 2 blocks from the end. And then we'll continue to build our farm out this way. And your first farm should be off-centered by 2 blocks from here, because we're only going to put 5 in this row and then 5 in the last row for our total of 16. Now what I'll do is continue to build the rest of the 5 sheep here, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Once your 2nd level is complete, it should look something like this. We're going to come over here to the left side. We're going to grab our stairs, and we're going to go place our stairs right here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, 4 levels up. Then once you have both sets of stairs, we're going to come to the top of the stairs, and we're going to place a block level with this and go the whole way across. Now once you have your blocks all the way across, add 2 more levels of blocks and go the whole way down. Then once you have the 2 blocks completed all the way down, this should look something like this. We're going to head back down here to the 1st level, and we're going to continue this floor with dirt blocks. And once you have this 4 space dirt block filled in. Go ahead here and drop your wall all the way down. Go ahead and put one there, and then you can come underneath and drop 2, 1 there and 1 there. So when you're done, you should have something that looks like this, and then head over to the other side. We're going to go ahead and fill this in actually with wood this time. So we'll drop our wall here, that, and swing underneath and fill in the gap just like that. Next, we're going to go ahead and put our rails on the side, all the way up on both sides. Now we're going to head to the side and run our planks all the way down on the outside perimeter of both sides. Okay, once you have the railings done and the underneath and back surrounded with the wood planks, you should have something that looks like this. There's the back of your farm. Here's the top of the other side of the farm. All right, once this is all completed, go ahead and start building our next 5 pods for our wool farm. We're going to come to the stairs on the left-hand side. We're going to move over 1 block and a second block, and then move back 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, and place our first dirt block there. Then we're going to build it just like we built the others. So your first pod should be right here, and I'll show you what the rest looks like when it's all done. Okay, once the 3rd level is complete, you should have something that looks like this. And we got our 5 colors on the top row completed. So next we're going to go continue with our stairs. We're going to go ahead and put 2 stairs right here. And then 3 additional stairs going up for a total of 4 stairs, just like we did in the previous 2. Then we're going to go ahead and take a block and run it right here, just like this, the whole way down. And once these stairs are completed, do the same thing on the other side to connect it all. Once that row is completed, we'll go ahead and add 2 more rows just like we did in the previous 2 levels. Next, we'll come over here to our right side on the top. We're going to go ahead and put 4 dirt blocks in here. Make sure one of them is grass, however. You can use a silk touch for that. And then we're going to go ahead and run our wall down just like we did in the past. And don't forget to put your block under the steps here. Then on the left side, we're just going to run it from the top again, and then go from underneath to cover all the airspace. Next, we're going to come behind the farm and run our pillars the whole way down to the ground. Then we can go ahead and place our railings on the side, just like we did on the other steps that we've created. Once you have your sides filled in, you can go ahead and then either fill in the back of this with wood. I'm going to connect it to the wall here with a set of staircases so I can access it from the other side. But this entire space in here is going to be used for storage. As these fill up, I'll go ahead and put more chests down here categorized by color. Maybe even run a minecart sorting system inside here. Just make sure you light it up so you don't have any mobs spawning in here once you close it off. And again, you could always put a door in the end here or in the back just so you can access it for later. Well, Leo, it looks like we have 2 sheep left. So why don't we take both of them? I have spots made for them. We'll take them over to the new sheep farm. We can put one in this grass spot, and then we'll put the other one over in this other grass spot we have. So there's a neat little Easter egg that you can do with sheep, that if you take a name tag, we go ahead and put this name tag in our anvil, and then we name the name tag Jeb _ and then we would take that name tag and put it on our sheep, and it does a little surprise for you. All right, so if you have your sheep and you put this on them, he now becomes a rainbow sheep, and he turns all the colors. We're gonna put you all the way in there.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's pretty cool, the rainbow sheep, huh, Leo?
Yeah. I like his.
All right, Leo, it's all complete. Why are you hiding? Oh, you're a pig.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
You like
Awesome.
what I moved to?
I like it. So what do you think? How do you like the sheep wool farm? Good?
Yeah. I like it.
Did you see all the colors and the steps around here? And did you check out this guy over here? Jeb? He's the rainbow sheep.
That's a ticket.
Pretty neat. We have one on this side as well. Oh, he ate all the grass. Shame, shame. All right, Leo. What do you say we play a game?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you want to play?
It's
Oh, you want to pick the colors of the sheep?
Yeah.
All right, let's start up here. All right, let's start this in. What color is the first one here? Red. What about the next one?
Orange.
Orange. Okay, next.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Green.
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 Another green. A blue green. A blue.
Blue.
A blue again.
Pink.
Pink.
Purple.
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 Black.
Black.
Egg.
Gray. Gray again.
White.
White.
Egg.
What color is the last one?
Brown.
And brown. Yay! You got them all. So there's different colors of green. There's actually lime green and regular green. And there's different colors of blue, which are cyan, light blue, and regular blue. And then if we come over here where the pink is, you have pink, magenta, and purple. And then all the way over here, you have black, gray, light gray, and white. Okay?
Okay.
So here's what I think we should do. I think we should go to each sheep. You know how to use this, right? You go into the barrel, you open it up, and there's dirt in there. Each one has the colors of the wool that's being produced by that sheep, right?
Yeah.
You go pick your 3 favorite colors, one wool of each color, okay? Then I'm going to pick my 3 favorite colors.
Okay.
Then we'll go get a stack of eggs. We'll put our 3 favorite colors down here, and we'll make a parkour course. We can throw eggs at each other. All right, so get your first favorite color, place it where you want to place it. All right, I'm going to put mine over here. So your favorite color is red. My first favorite color is black. Yellow's your second favorite color? Oh, you're going to put them next to each other? Well, I'm going to put mine here. Red's mine. What's yours? What's your third favorite? Oh, orange. All right, I'm going to put mine cyan there. Now I can jump here. I can jump to yours. Now it's parkour. All right, so get your eggs ready. Here we go. Chop. Oh, you knocked me off. What's with the shield? Are you hiding from me? Uh-oh, we're getting chickens over there. Oh, I'm out of eggs. I don't have any more eggs. Oh, no. Don't hit me. I'm on your property. No. Oh, you knocked me off. No. 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 Oh. Oh. Block. Oh, chicken on my head. Oh, you took more than 16. All right, let's go say goodbye to everybody. You want to say goodbye to everybody? All right. Well, I guess that wraps up this video. Looks like we have a pretty successful sheep wool farm, huh, Leo? Well, I hope everybody had a great day. I hope everybody learned how to get wool automatically from a wool farm. I hope everybody learned about all the colors in the Minecraft game. Go ahead and hit that like button and smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!